Now, a lot of you asked a question about the daily Bible reading, and I know for years I did struggle with daily Bible reading and getting that done. I've started now using BibleGateway.com, and I love this. It helps me read through the Bible every year. Now, if you don't feel like you can handle that at this point, maybe you read through just the New Testament, or maybe the New Testament and the Psalms, and the next year you're reading more. What I do is I go to BibleGateway.com, and then I go to Read the Bible. And underneath the Read the Bible, you have reading plans. And you can decide what reading plan works for you. I generally do the Old and New Testament, and each day it sends me a passage. And if I read that passage in my email, then at the end of the year, I've read through the whole Bible, and I don't have to keep track of where I'm at. And let's say one day it was a terribly crazy day. There was a tragedy or something in my family, and I can go back, look at yesterday's email, read that, and then read the one for today. So there's different ways you can do it. Old and New Testament, chronological, beginning, historical. The Bible in 90 days, that's a big one. If you had some time off, that was good. You can read the Gospel in 40 days, the New Testament in a year, and then the daily audio Bible. And that's nice because for some of us, life can be a little crazy, but maybe we have a long commute, or we are having periods of time when we are sitting, and maybe we could be listening to the Bible. And so there are a variety of ways that you can read the Bible through in a year using BibleGateway.com. And as far as prayer, a lot of you have mentioned like setting aside time for prayer. And with Bible reading and prayer, what I generally suggest is that you pick a time for it. But if that time happens and it flies away and it didn't happen, then you can choose a time later in that day. What I generally do for me that's successful is I usually try to read my Bible before I get out of bed, because then no one usually will knock on my door, and I have some peaceful time that I can do that. That may not work for you at all. That may be a horrible idea for you. You know what works for your life. If you can set up something that's consistent, that is very helpful. And I have found that it's helpful to have a prayer journal. My grandmother was a wonderful prayer warrior, and she had so many people listed on her prayer journal that she would divide things between, okay, this is what I'm going to pray for every single day, and this is what I will pray for on Monday, and this is what I will pray for on Tuesday. So, if the list got long, she could divide it out, and that made it easier. You can keep the people most important to you on your daily list and then divide the other one out as you can. And there may be periods of time that there's an urgent need for specific things, and then that prayer may be answered. I love the idea, and I love the practice of recording the date that God answered that prayer and recording His faithfulness, because all throughout the Psalms you'll mention how people are so grateful to the Lord and how they thank Him for what He has done. And remember that one of the important parts of prayer is praise. Reflect on who God is, how mighty He is. And that really helps us as we pray, because when we realize we are praying to a mighty God who made the universe, who can perform miracles, who can give us wisdom, and then we realize we have a God of prayer. And we also have to remember that the disciples faced persecution, they faced hardship, and we will have hardship in life, but God promises in Hebrews 13:5 that He'll never leave us or forsake us. Contact me anytime, and I will be more than happy to talk with you. Know that I find it a special honor to be your professor, and that I love interacting with all of you. Thank you. Bye.